If you're thinking about starting eBay dropshipping, or you've already opened up an eBay store and kind of want to know how to scale safely, this video is really going to help you out, especially if you're a beginner. Because the number one reason why beginners fail with eBay dropshipping isn't because of the products. It's not the competition. It's because they set up their eBay account the incorrect way and try and scale way too fast before eBay trusts them. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the exact safe way to start with eBay dropshipping, including the warm-up that you should follow, as well as how to scale your account to 10,000 total listings. But let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing is your eBay account setup, and a lot of beginners get this wrong, and specifically the account type. When you go ahead and try and sign up for an eBay account, you have two main options. You can either make a personal selling account or a business selling account. And the business account definitely looks really attractive because if you make a business account, you get super high limits right off the bat, so you're allowed to list more products. But I would really advise against a business account right off the bat. And specifically, the type of business account I mean is a sole proprietorship. If you have an LLC, then making an account under that LLC is pretty safe. But if you don't have an official business, I would highly advise against making a sole proprietorship eBay account. Here's why. When you open up a business account, specifically a sole prop account, eBay views you as much higher risk. eBay is typically a lot more trusting if you make a personal selling account right off the bat, because that's kind of what most people are doing. And your limits aren't going to be as high at first, but eventually you can switch over to a business account after you build up a sales history and you build your trust with eBay. Because if you have no official documentation like an LLC or a corporation or something like that, and you try and open up a business account, eBay just isn't going to trust you as much. And I've seen a lot of people get suspended literally right when they open up their account. And I rarely ever see this happen if you just open up a normal seller account, like a personal selling account on eBay. So the kind of game plan to follow is if you have no LLC or corporation, and simply open up a standard selling account. If you do have an LLC, you can go ahead and open up a business account with that info, but for most people, that's not going to be the case. So what I would recommend doing is starting off with a personal selling account, building up some feedback, building up some sales history, and then after you hit your selling limit on the account, you can go ahead and switch over to a business account. At this point, eBay trusts you a lot more, and it's a lot safer to go ahead and switch to a business after you've already built up some sales. And if you already have an eBay account, that's totally fine too. That's honestly even better. The older the account is, the better it's going to be set up for scaling. But if you're brand new, just simply start a personal account. Okay, so now that you've got your eBay account set up, it might be really tempting to go ahead and start listing hundreds of products overnight. But the thing is, you want to go ahead and do a warm-up on your eBay account to make sure that you can build trust with eBay first and you can scale smoothly as time goes on. Typically, the types of items that I'd recommend right off the bat are like CDs, books, like certain electronics, just certain things that these are just super safe items, really very low risk, a low risk of being returned. The buyer knows exactly what they're getting. So when I first open up the account, I may only do like one listing the first day, and then the second day of opening the account, I'll do a couple listings and just kind of work my way up. And typically I'll go from like 1 to around 10 CDs per day on the account for around a week. This is an account that has been warmed up with CDs. As you can see, a bunch of different titles, and these are actually CDs that are selling. And the markup isn't anything crazy on these CDs, like selling it for $16, maybe buying it for like 10 or 12 bucks on Amazon. Not a crazy profit, but again, that's not the goal. It's just to get some sales. And CDs do a lot better than you think on eBay. So that's kind of what I've found to be like the perfect balance of items that'll actually sell and items that are safe. So like this is a perfect example of an account that has been properly warmed up, because these are all sales that this seller got within like a week of opening their account. And it was very good. They got feedback from it and just built up a selling history, which is what eBay wants to see for new sellers. And they want to see successful transactions. Show you some examples of items that I would stay away from entirely. And typically for me, a lot of the big brand names is going to be stuff I'm going to avoid, like Nike, Apple. A lot of those brands don't want you selling their products on eBay, and you can get dinged. Your account can get flagged for that. So I typically like doing just kind of the unbranded, like Chinese branded stuff. That's typically what I also do better with in general with sales wise, but also I would definitely stick with that type of category if you're just starting off and have a newer account. And so like, for example, I would not want to list any Apple products. That'd be a big thing, like these earbuds here, like this iPad. A lot of these brands, they don't want their products sold on eBay unless it's them doing it directly. And since you're a third-party seller, then you can go ahead and get dinged for that sometimes. And then also like Amazon products, I like to stay away from. Like Roku is a big name, Fujifilm, that's a big one. And then here's an example of an item that would be totally fine to list, like a brand like Tessin, or however you say that. No one's really heard of that. I haven't heard of that myself. yourself, and that's just a safer play in general. If you're doing a warm up, like this item might not be the best. I mean, this would be all right. Like this seems like a safer item to me. This would be an item that you could definitely be fine listing during a warm up for your account. I typically only do CDs really right off the bat. That's what I've found the most success with, but it's totally fine to do items like this, low risk stuff that's lower priced. That's a big thing. And then not a big brand name like this brand right here, not very common. You shouldn't have any problems really selling their product on your store. This right here would be another example of an item that I would probably want to list during a warm up if I wasn't doing the CD route. This one here, it's only $5.99. That's a good low price, which is what you want right off the bat. Zip tie is a pretty low risk item. Just, you guys can probably do a good job at this. You'll be able to tell, but just items that you don't think would get returned, lower price stuff, just items that won't have a lot of problems. And this would be one of them. So that's what I would stick with. And I'd recommend doing CDs though. That's my number one pick. If you have a brand new account and you're trying to warm it up, the CDs are going to get you sales, and you're not going to have a ton of problems with those. You've already built up feedback. Just to kind of recap, I'd recommend doing CDs or some sort of other low risk item to warm up your account. And then also try and stay away from super high price products, do lower price products around, the $10 to $30 range is typically good for a warm up. Then I also wouldn't do like a super high markup off the bat. I would do, 35 to like 50% for your markup, which is how much you're increasing your Amazon price by on eBay. And for the first week, a good rule of thumb is to do around 20 to 30 items. And then after that, you can start scaling a little bit more and, using like AI tools to kind of help you list faster. But if you have a brand new account, first week, I wouldn't do more than like 30 items. Get some sales rolling in, build up some selling history, some feedback, and eBay is going to trust you a lot more. You're going to set yourself up long term. Okay, and so after you're done warming up your account and you get some sales, get some feedback, you're probably wondering, what do I do next? How do I take it to the next level and actually scale this thing? And typically the best approach is to not continue doing all the listings by hand. You're going to realize that it's very tedious. It takes a while to actually create listings from scratch, as well as find winning products. It definitely can be done all by hand. It's just hard to scale it. And after your warm up, you're kind of in a good position to start using an AI tool to kind of automate your store and get listings up quickly. And for me personally, I use a tool called Dropshipping that I built. And essentially the tool is finding me winning products and it's listing those products onto my account automatically. I really just have to click a few buttons. It's taking care of most of the manual work, which is nice. And I can focus on scaling my stores. Again, you don't need a tool like this. You don't need an AI lister bot to actually run your store, but it just helps so much. And if you're someone who wants to take advantage of your eBay store and make the most amount of money possible with eBay dropshipping, then it's really the recommended approach. Okay, so here's kind of a walkthrough of how I list items onto my account. And I don't do anything by hand really, just because I don't have a lot of time for that. I focus more on actually trying to get more eBay stores and kind of scale that way rather than spending all day on like the tedious stuff. The first thing I'd recommend to anyone who wants to scale eBay dropshipping is just to invest in some sort of AI tool. I use Dropshipping. It's a tool I actually built based on kind of the needs I had in my dropshipping business and kind of solving all the issues I faced and automating a lot of the manual work that I used to do. And essentially what the tool does is it's taking Amazon links and then converting them into eBay listings. So it's copying over all the information, because if you were to do this by hand, right, you'd be copying the photos over, you'd be saving them to your desktop, and then you'd be copying the title over, description, all that stuff, just filling it in by hand. And the lister is still kind of doing that same process, just you don't have to actually click any buttons, it's filling it in for you. And so I'll show you real quick what I do, but essentially I'm taking a bunch of Amazon products and I'm putting them into my lister, and then it's converting them into eBay listings for my store. And there is a step before this, which I have detailed in earlier videos, which is the product research tool and how I actually find the winning products. The software takes care of that as well. So in that step, it's essentially spitting out winning products for me based on what other eBay dropshippers are selling. It's going through their storefronts and then finding me products to list. So that's probably, if you're wondering, that's what these links over here are. These are from the product research tool and links I found that are proven based on other sellers on eBay and what they've been selling. And so I'm just going to show you how I list. You can watch my other video on how do I find winning products to kind of see that whole process of getting these links. But for now, we have our Amazon products here in a spreadsheet, and I'll show you how I get those onto my eBay account. So essentially, I'm just simply copying over however many I want. Normally I do around 100 to 125 every single day. I'll typically run it before I go to bed. It's just gonna list on my computer while I'm sleeping, and I wouldn't recommend doing, and I don't really run it while I'm trying to do other work on my computer because it's essentially taking over my screen and listing. So I'll simply just do it while I'm not using my computer, like if I'm running some errands, or typically for me it's before bed because I don't need my computer. So here's what I'll do. I'll simply just copy over, let's say we do 100 links. So we'll go until we get to 100 here, and then I'll copy that, go over to my Dropanion extension, and then simply put in my markup, promoted ad rate, and the amount of links I want to list. And typically for my markup, I do around 100%. Anywhere from 80 to 100% is what I found to be the sweet spot. And that may seem kind of like, why would people buy your products on eBay if they're marked up that much? The truth is, a lot of people don't price check stuff and they only shop on eBay. So that's why you're able to get away from it. And when you mark up your items that high, you're just able to make so much more in profit per sale than your competition. And you don't need to sell as many items. We'll try and sell tons of products every single day, which is at the end of the day always the goal. But with my approach, I only need to sell like 5 items in a day, and I can make 15 profit in a given day because I'm making like 8 to 10 bucks in profit on every single order, and most people only make like 50 cents to a couple bucks. That's why I take that higher markup approach. And then for my ad rate, I always do 5%. And if you're wondering what that is, it's essentially how you're advertising your items on eBay, but you're not paying any money up front. You just pay that percentage you put in after you sell an item. So I just do 5%. There's really no risk, no upfront risk with that. And then we'll go ahead and paste in our links here. We had 100, so we'll go ahead and type in 100 here. And then simply all I do from there after I have all the information filled in is I click start. And then what that's going to do is open up each Amazon link and then start scraping all the data. And then it's going to convert that data into an eBay listing for us. And so like right now, I'm not touching my screen at all. It's simply just chugging along. It's going to pretty much fill in all the information for us. And the nice part about it is that after this listing goes ahead and gets submitted onto our account, it's kind of a cycle that repeats over and over again. And the lister is going to move through all your products until they're fully finished. So like it's not going to stop until these 100 products have been listed onto my store. That's why I kind of run it before I go to bed. And then when I wake up in the morning, all of the listings are on my eBay store. So as you can see, it filled in the title here with AI. It's going to fill in the SKU for us, do all the pictures, then fill in all these item specifics. And like obviously you can do this stuff by hand, right? Like you can fill this in, whatever the lister is doing now, you can do by hand, but it's so tough to get a ton of listings up, which is really how you scale eBay dropshipping. It sounds simple, but the way you scale is by just listing more products. And it's tough to do a ton of products when you're doing everything by hand. And with the lister, you're pretty much able to do as many items as you want in a day. I obviously don't recommend going crazy and doing like thousands of products in one day. That's why I do 100 a day to keep my account safe and, keep it steady long term. But kind of the sky's the limit here if you're able to use an AI tool on your account. And so as you can see, it submitted that previous item and it moved on to the next one here. It looks like we're doing some sort of like Ziploc bags, and it'll just kind of go through and fill in the information again. I think you guys understand the point, but that's kind of what I do to automate all of my eBay stores. And it's what I've found to be the easiest way to get listings up. That's why I built the software in the first place, to kind of save me time and allow me to scale, and definitely something I would recommend. But yeah, essentially what my goal is though, is to get to 10,000 listings on my eBay store. That's kind of the benchmark I set for every account. And the reason why is because when you have that much volume, that many listings up, you're just going to get a ton of, you're just going to get a lot of sales consistently month over month. It's hard when you only have like 100 or even, a couple hundred listings on your account. You just can't expect a ton of sales because so many products on eBay. And the way you're going to get sales is just simply by listing a ton of items. And what I've found is that 10,000 is kind of that benchmark I like to get to, where I see, a lot of sales month over month. And if you're wondering kind of what you can expect in terms of profit, if you hit that number of 10,000 items on your store, what I've seen is, across all 10 of my eBay accounts, that's how many I'm running now. I've typically seen that you're going to make anywhere from like 700 to 1,500 in profit every single month. And that's not just like, 1 month hitting that number. If you get to 10,000 listings on your store, you're going to be making money month over month, because those listings don't go away, right? When you list a product on eBay, it actually stays up on your account. And when you sell an item as well, you're able to mark up that quantity, and that'll even stay on your account. You can find these hot selling products, especially when you have 10,000 items. Those winning products are going to be kind of baked into your store, and you're able to keep selling them over and over again. And so with my approach of doing like 100 to 125 items a day, I typically aim to hit that 10,000 listing number in around 3 months. So it does take a little bit of time to get up to that point, but it's so worth it in the long term for your account. it keeps your account super safe. And then once you hit that 10,000 mark, it's going to be worth it because you're making, 700 to 1,500 in profit per month. So now that you kind of understand how to scale and how to list a ton of products onto your store and get consistent sales, I'm going to show you how you keep your account safe, especially when you're getting tons of orders and tons of customer messages. I'm going to show you how to actually deal with all of that. Make sure your store stays healthy and your account metrics are good. And so tip number one I would have is to always ship orders out quick. In my handling time, I set on all my accounts is 3 days. So when a customer orders from me, I have 3 days to actually ship out the product. But the best practice is to order it from Amazon to the eBay customer within 1 to 2 days. Buyers want their items super quickly to get more positive feedback, and your metrics are going to be better if you ship out items quicker. So I'd recommend doing like 1 to 2 days max for fulfillment. And tip number two would be to have really good customer service and always treat buyers really well. It's easy to kind of get mad if like someone reaches out to you and complains about the transaction or they kind of leave you a bad review, but it's always best to have a positive mindset and address the customer's need. Like, don't disagree with them. Don't try and like one up them. At the end of the day, it's always better to side with a buyer and, address their problems that they're having with the transaction and to kind of understand where they're coming from. And so I offer free returns on all of my items. So if someone's unhappy with an item, they can get a free return label from me and then just send it back. And the reason why I do that is because Amazon's going to give you a free return label. So if your supplier is Amazon, which is what I use, if a buyer wants to return an item, you can simply go into that Amazon order and then file for a free return, get the code from them or the return label from Amazon, and then send it directly to your eBay buyer. And what's nice is that it's free, and then also you don't have to return at all. The buyer is simply going to send the item you sold to them back to Amazon directly. And then once you receive a refund from Amazon, you can just go ahead and issue the buyer a refund. And so anytime I get a complaint on eBay from a buyer, and if they want to send the item back, I always say yes. And I always tell them, go ahead and file a return. And then I send them their return label. And I'm not going to lose any money because we're getting our money back from Amazon. And even though we're issuing the buyer a refund eventually, we're just going to break even on the transaction. And that's much more worth it than arguing with the buyer and not letting them send the item back. So my third tip would be to handle item not received cases. Like for example, if a package is just running late, maybe the eBay buyer opened up a case on eBay because they thought their item never came, but in reality, it's just arriving a little bit later. And in that case, Amazon's going to tell you exactly when it's delayed to and when it's going to arrive to the buyer. So you can simply just send them a message and let them know, keep them in the loop on when it's going to be delivered. So just to kind of recap, ship out items super quick, have really good customer service, always understand where the buyer is coming from. And then when you get an item not received case on your account, make sure to always respond in a timely manner. And worst case, send a refund to the buyer and just get your money back from Amazon. It's not worth it to try and always save a sale and make sure you keep your money. At the end of the day, you want to preserve your account and keep it alive long term. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys my main eBay account. And like I said before, I do have 10 total eBay stores, but I do have some that perform better and have more listings. Like this one I'm going to show you here. This account's been running for a lot longer than all the other ones, and it's doing a lot better. And also at the same time, it's because I have way more listings on the account. This is the eBay store I have with 25,000 total listings, and I'm seeing very good results from it. So I'll kind of show you, what you can expect to make at that volume. And so we'll just go over here to the top. Like the last 90 days, I've done 46,000 total in revenue. That's not profit, obviously. That's just revenue. The sales I've gotten on the account. I've done 1,040 orders. And as we go down here, it's going to show us that as well. The last month was 28,000 in total revenue. Last 7 days, 9,000 in revenue. And that's obviously not profit, but here's kind of like a progression of how my sales have gone up. And just, this is me simply listing more products. That's really how you scale the business. You just list more products and you're going to get more sales. So like, as you can see here, I was doing like 500 to 800 a day in total sales. And then it got up to one point where I even made 2,200 in one day. Obviously still sales, right? But that's pretty good numbers. And it's all because I'm taking the volume approach and listing tons and tons of products. And now I'm consistently doing around 1,000 in revenue every day. As we can see here, today is Tuesday and I've done 1,100 in revenue and the day is not even over yet. As we can see here, this account's at 24,797 listings total. And that's simply why I'm doing all that. That's simply why I'm getting those consistent sales every day, is because I have so many products on my store and I'm getting rewarded for that. And as we can see as well, I have around 1,700 feedback. I've been selling on this account for a while, so it starts to stack up. All this stuff helps. Like the more you sell on eBay, the better your account's going to do, because you're going to keep building up feedback, keep building up trust with eBay, getting more sales on your account and getting more and getting more listings up. And then in turn, you're just going to be getting more sales. So eBay dropshipping definitely is super scalable, especially if you're using AI automation tools to find products for you and list them for you. And that's kind of what I did on this account. All these listings are from using my AI bot to list products. I didn't do any listings on this account by hand. There's just no reason for me to. It's just much easier, and I save way more time taking this approach. And when this account used to be at like 10K listings, for example, my sales were a lot lower, but I was still making, around $1,500 in profit every single month. But as I started to scale and get to 25,000 listings, I eventually ended up making a lot more. It's just been increasing every single month. And it got to a point where last month was around 3,000 in profit, just simply from one account. There's nothing stopping anyone else from doing the exact same thing. Simply all I did was use an AI tool to list these products. Anyone can go ahead and open up an eBay account and list a ton of products on their store and get sales. It's really not anything too crazy that I'm doing. It's just simply I took the volume approach and listed a ton of proven products onto my eBay store. And so that's kind of my setup, and this is what I'd recommend to any beginner who wants to get into eBay dropshipping. Just to kind of recap, I recommend starting off with a personal selling account if you don't already have an account currently, and then you warm that up for like a week, and then slowly kind of ease into the listings, work your way up to around 100 to 125 products every single day. And then the amount I would recommend getting to is 10,000 listings on your store. That's when I start seeing consistent sales and I start making really solid profit every single month. And so you can obviously list products by hand, find products by hand, but if you really want to scale this and take it to the next level, then I would definitely recommend using an AI tool. The one I use is Dropanion, which is the tool I actually built. And then as you're kind of scaling up your store, you want to be taking really good care of it. You want to be having good customer service, shipping orders out on time, dealing with item not received cases, and just overall making sure buyers stay happy and not arguing with buyers when they reach out to you, kind of just siding with them. And if you're interested in starting off with eBay dropshipping, then I actually have a free Discord where I show you how to set up your account and get your first listing up onto your store. And if you're interested in checking out the AI tool that I built and that I currently use on 10 of my eBay stores, I link that in the description as well. It's Dropanion if you want to check it out. And Dropanion does come with the kind of full scaling blueprint showing you how to take your store from 0 to 10,000 listings, and you kind of get that scaling blueprint as well as the AI bot. So that's linked if you want to check it out. But other than that, I appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope it was helpful. And if you ever have any questions or need more personal help with eBay dropshipping and starting off, then you can actually book a free call with me. I'll have that linked in the description as well. It's a Calendly meeting link, and if you ever have more questions or want to hop on a call and discuss, then feel free to book a time. I'd love to chat. But besides that, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for more videos.